Okay, everybody, welcome to Monday edition of the Computer America Show. We're going to be starting in about 30 seconds, so stand by.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Ben, you're here.
Craig, yeah.
Yes, Charles Tendell, last minute gave his wife contacted us and said that he was tied up in a meeting. And we don't ask too many questions about that, what he's into. But anyhow, he will hopefully be back with us tomorrow here on the show when we have our All Linux program with Larry Bushy. It's going to be an interesting show. But in the meantime, Ben is with us here. So we have a very interesting show. Slight schedule changes. We're not going to have the second hour guest. We're going to go with Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. Of course, they're the official optimization software of Computer America. So we're going to be doing that. And let's see, what else? Oh, yes, since it's Monday, we have not one, but two brand new news tip bulletins from Marty Winston. That's right. So we're going to have two news tips. One of them, I understand, is about Microsoft 360. Yeah, one of them is Microsoft Office 360. Oh, actually, Office 365. Excuse me. And then also something about the undead. In the first. So we'll hear about that coming up in his news tips bulletin. So that's all coming up. And of course, we had a show reminder week on the Friday. Hopefully, all of you had a wonderful weekend. Yeah. Did you do anything fun? Or it was for Father's Day. Ben, did you?
Oh, yeah. We took Greg out.
Oh, that's right. You took me out. That's right. For dinner. It was very nice. And then also on Saturday, which is usually the day before Sunday, usually, we.
Most days.
Yes. It was our anniversary, so I took my wife out to a very nice restaurant and got her a little anniversary gift, which evidently she really loves. And so that all turned out to be very, very nice. It was actually a very pleasant weekend. So let's talk about how you can get involved with what we're going to be doing.
All right.
Office. Jack says in the chat room, the Office 360 is a budget version of Office 365. He's right. You 5 days shorter. If you want to join us, if you have a question, a comment, anything we're doing tonight, give us a call. That's 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. We also have email, live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. If you don't want to go on the air, you're a little radio shy, that's a great way to contact us. And we'll read it live and on the air. You can also join us in our live interactive add-on chat room. From our homepage at computeramerica.com, under the first pull-down menu, you'll see it says chat room/video, or there's a button on the page too. Just to select that, and it'll take you to the page where you'll be asked to put in a username. That's the name you'll be known by when you go into the chat room. Click the sign-in button, and your Java-enabled browser, whether it's on a Windows machine, Mac, Linux, they all work, will move you into the Computer America chat room. And sharing that very same page is our new live Computer America video streaming page. Yes, and that's brought to you by Other World Computing. Quality products, expert support since 1988, now celebrating their 25th anniversary. They got some really cool things going on at Other World Computing that you need to check out. Actually, I can give you a little hint about what they're doing. There are a couple of secret things that you can do on their webpage, which I'll tell you about a little later on in the program. But anyway, they have over 50 batteries for legacy Macs. They have online videos so you can watch what they're doing. I mean, that's part of their support. Terrific service. Anything over $49, you get free ground shipping, and that's like 2 days for 80% of most of the country. You can check out their Auraline SSDs. Their 120 gigabyte drive is $95. Just visit them at www.macsales, macsales.com. All right, macsales.com. You'll check all, and I'll tell you a little later about how you can find some additional bargain items. They call it clearance. It's kind of hidden. You'll have to, but I'll tell you where to find them. But just check them out at macsales.com. Tell them we sent you, and you'll be happy that you went there. Okay. So all the different things that you can do to interact with us here on the show. And am I forgetting anything, Ben, before we get started with our guest tonight?
No, I think you actually had a few more things that I even forgot about. So.
Really? Okay.
I think you're doing well.
Yeah. I think you need to angle your camera down so I can see that. Right now I see just your eyeballs.
You know, much of the face's expression, as in everyday conversation, comes from the eyebrows. So,
I like
ladies and gentlemen, I'm focusing on that.
Yeah, I like your lower third. Yeah, but just tilt your camera down a little bit so I can see. We can see your smiling face. Otherwise, we can't see you. All right. Anyhow, we're getting started here with our guest tonight. Now, our guest tonight is from a company called Amped Wireless. And now, there's nothing more annoying, when wandering around your home and then all of a sudden falling off your Wi-Fi network. I mean, now Amped Wireless has helped solve this problem with the updated SR20000G Wi-Fi range extender. That's right. Now, this is a dual-band range extender that has been beefed up with boost band technology to optimize performance. We'll find out what that is. It utilizes this dual-band technology coupled with boost band to streamline dual-band networking traffic through a single Wi-Fi frequency. So, in a nutshell, the SR20000G not only extends your wireless network up to 10,000 square feet, it's also optimized for high-definition video streaming. Now, joining us is Lacey Netto. Lacey is the brand marketing manager for Amped Wireless. Lacey, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Thank you, Craig. I'm great. How are you?
Well, I'm sure you heard everything. We had a nice weekend, and it was we had a pleasant
You're
weekend.
Good?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was nice.
Happy anniversary to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. So let's talk a little bit about the Amped Wireless. I have to say, before I was contacted by a PR agency, I had not heard of the company. I mean, you hear of things like Netgear and all these others that are so well known, but I hadn't heard of Amped Wireless. Who are you, and how long have you been around?
Well, I'm not surprised, and no, my feelings are not hurt by that. We are a young company. We're only about 4 years old.
Okay.
We're based out of Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
And we specialize, our core focus is high-power, long-range wireless solutions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so 4 years old. Okay, that's and this is this your first or flagship product?
It's definitely one of our flagship products. It is not our first, but it was one of the first range extenders to receive the boost band update.
Okay.
And that's of course, because it is so popular and so many people have the product. So it's a dual band. It is the 802.11n technology, and it's backwards compatible, of course. And so this boost band technology is a new exclusive firmware update that actually, as of today, is available for all of our dual band range extenders. And then as you said, it streamlines the traffic between the router and the range extender. So essentially, it's less computing time for the devices, which means faster speeds for your extended network. Okay,
so tell us a bit about why and how why someone would need a range extender, whether it be yours. What is the purpose of the range extender? Can you go into a little bit of the details for those who might not be familiar with the technology?
Yeah, of course. So let me start with the ISPs. So your ISP is your Comcast or whoever you get your internet from. Your internet service provider is your ISP, and their core focus is speed. They're delivering you the best speeds that they can with the best equipment that works for their technology and the speed that you're after. And so most people do use a Wi-Fi router that's given to them or that they rent from their ISP. And routers are stuck in your home wherever your wires were ran when your home was built. So many people find their routers stuck in their basement or in their garage or in a really inconvenient area that ends up trapping their Wi-Fi signal and doesn't give them much range off of that router that they get from their ISP.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you insert a range extender. A range extender is a wireless device. It just needs a power outlet. You would plug it in, we say about somewhere halfway between your dead spot and where your router is located.
Mm-hmm.
And it grabs that signal from your router and it repeats it into a new extended network.
Okay, now does that
extending your overall range?
Now, does that extended network maintain the same SSID, basically as, in other words, as the actual network itself, or is it actually a secondary network to the network?
It is actually a secondary network.
Okay.
There are network setups like that, but it's more of an enterprise level type of solution.
So let's say I have a Wi-Fi network in my home that has that's one of the it's locked, like a WPA or WPA2 or some of the newer ones, and there, do I have to tell the range extender that the Wi-Fi network that it's grabbing to extend, I need to put the password into that, or how does that work? Or is it transparent? How does that work?
Yes. No, it will ask you for, you select the network that you want to extend, and it will ask you for the password if that is a protected network.
Okay. And, most people, within reason, should have some sort of password. So you tell the range extender what the password is? Is that how it works?
Right. So when you're setting up, they're actually quite simple to set up. So you scan for the networks that you want to repeat. In this case of the SR20000G, that's a dual band range extender, so you select both your 2.4 and your 5 gig networks, both your bands, and you select to repeat them, and then if they're protected, it will ask you for a password,
mm-hmm.
and then once it goes through, I want to say it's about 120 seconds or so of grabbing those settings,
mm-hmm.
repeating the settings,
mm-hmm.
then it will offer you to set up a separate password and rename the SSID of your extended network.
Now,
if you choose to do so.
I was going to say, now why would I choose to do that? Why wouldn't I just make it the same? Or am I looking to make things more complicated there? I mean, what?
No, it's just an option. Most people do just repeat it and just keep the same password and keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then we'll have, a doctor's office, let's say, that wants to give their extended network to their lobby area.
Okay.
And those are the only people that use it. So they would have a separate login. They only log in on that SSID, and they would have a separate password for that network out there.
So if someone set this up in their house, let's call the router Panda, and if they set this up and they went through all the settings and they set it up, then they would have something like Panda 2 or just like another name in there that they could connect to.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Correct. So by default, our range extenders put something like AMP at the end or AMPed at the end of the SSID, but you're free to change it.
Okay. All right. I have a lot more questions, Sophia, but we have one of the people in our chat room whose name is Lunchbox. Has a question for you. He says,
mm-hmm.
if you need to open specified ports, would you need to open the ports on the extender as well?
Not sure that I understand that question.
Okay.
I would assume, since you said that it takes all the settings, or by default it just takes the settings from your router and applies it to the repeater. If you have the ports already open on the router, it would just grab all the settings and the ports would automatically be open on the second one.
I can go with that.
Yeah. So you have most people just repeat the settings, but you do have the option to change the settings on your extended network.
Okay, so you can change them, but obviously if you want to keep them the same, I am assuming Lunchbox wants to keep them the same, you can do that. However, you can make them different on the extended network if you want to, for whatever reasons.
Correct.
All right.
Do you need to connect in directly, just kind of leapfrogging off that, do you need to connect in directly to the repeater, or can you do that from any computer connected to it with Wi-Fi? Or, do you have to be connected to the base router? How do you interact with the settings of the unit?
All of our range extenders can be accessed wirelessly. You can just access the setup menu through your web browser, so that can be done on a tablet, a smartphone, a laptop, any device that can access the internet and open up a browser.
Okay. Now, I think he's trying to clarify. He says, does it automatically repeat your router port settings? I guess is what he's asking.
Yes.
Okay.
But that is optional.
It is optional. Okay. So it's optional. All right. So there it is. Okay, Lunchbox, hopefully that answers your questions. And yeah, he acknowledges, says, okay, good. So let's continue on. Let me ask you this. We're talking about, now Ben's using the word repeater, but the correct would be range extender, or are those terms interchangeable?
They are, yeah, they're interchangeable. We used to use repeater, and then we started to use range extender as we thought that it was maybe becoming a more adopted term.
Okay.
But they are the same thing.
Okay.
Range extender, repeater.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. My age is showing. I'm still using the old term.
Or you're just being redundant. Okay.
Thank you, Greg.
That's okay. So let's talk about this. So let's back up for a moment. We're talking about these range extenders that you make for Amp Wireless. But let me. This kind of begs the question: is why do people have poor Wi-Fi signals in the first place? I mean, aren't these routers supposed to be pretty powerful? And I mean, especially when you're talking about 802.11n, you have a fairly late generation router. So why are these poor Wi-Fi signals happening?
Right. It's really down to the hardware and interference. And interference comes in two forms. It comes in the construction of the building, the actual physical interference of your signal, that's your walls, your building materials, etc. And then your radio interference, which is other networks, even microwaves, anything that's running on that, typically mostly the 2.4 band. But the main core problem is just low power Wi-Fi routers and poor location of the router, which is often and like I said, the ISPs, they're focused on speed, and the routers. That's why you have folks like us and Netgear and Linksys, so we can focus on giving you a high power router with amplifiers and antennas and things like that really help to give you that range, push your signal out.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good.
Actually, she kind of touched on something there that I think a lot of people don't realize is that if you're renting a router or something along the lines of that from your cable company, I mean, for them to upgrade to the latest technology requires them to, take back and replace millions of routers. So, I mean, to think that, just, by default, I just got my new, I just signed up for Comcast and I have the newest technology, odds are you probably don't. So, I mean, I think that would be why a repeater would be great. Even if you think you have the latest and greatest router from, Time Warner, Comcast, what have you, you probably don't.
Good point.
Right, and you probably have. I mean, if they're telling you have the latest technology, that means you have the right Wi-Fi radios, the latest Wi-Fi technology. But when it comes to amplifiers, dual stage amplifiers, low noise amplifiers, external antennas, those are the pieces of that hardware focus for ISPs. And that could change because the adoption, I mean, everything is on Wi-Fi. You have your baby camera and your thermostat and your home security. Everything is going to Wi-Fi. So this is becoming, people are becoming more and more aware of the limitations of their routers, and that's where that need for the range extender comes in.
Okay. Now, another question is being asked here in the chat room about what are the quote-unquote best channels to use with a Wi-Fi or a range extender. He says he hears some channels are better than others. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, there are some channels that are better than others. One thing to note is that your range extender will be on the same channel as your router, and we actually have something called a Wi-Fi analytics tool, which is a free app that you can download on an Android or PC device that will show you all the networks that your device picks up and the channels and how many devices are connected to those channels, and lets you get a real good visual of where most of the traffic is, and then allows you to choose the channel that's right for you. So I use that often in my own personal use, and we have a lot of customers that use that too. It also helps them figure out where to put their range extenders, to tie that back to range extenders. So you can carry it around, it'll show you signal strength, what's happening on all the channels, and that would be my top recommendation for finding the best channel. Because it's also going to vary depending on where you're at and what the networks around you are using.
Okay, that makes sense. But so basically, it's not just setting up anywhere you want to. Evidently, if someone is having trouble getting a Wi-Fi signal into a certain room in their home, okay, then what would you recommend that they try in that instance?
Yeah, so that every network and every environment is different. A good place to start is to determine where your Wi-Fi router starts to drop off and how much more space you need to have covered. That's typically where we have people start. And then there really are a number of solution combinations that you can do to solve your problem. So sometimes it's as simple as a range extender, which the range extender you would put somewhere about halfway between your dead spot and your router, and that is going to boost your signal to cover that space and to cover your dead spots. Other times, people will have their router in a place that's not terrible, but it's not giving enough power, it's not moving as fast as they want it to, and maybe they just need, if they could just get it around the corner or just 5 more feet down the hall, then physical interference would be gone. In that case, they'd be looking for something like an access point, which an access point is a wired device that they can move that access position is, and then that will kick that signal out as well. And with ours, it's high power. You're going to get up to 10,000 square feet of coverage with an access point. Now, some people find themselves on their porch, on their back porch, and they get a little bit of a signal on their laptop, but it's just not fast enough for them to stream their Netflix. In that case, their solution might be as simple as a USB adapter for their laptop that would give them different. Every network and setup is different. Most of the time I say start with wherever your dead spots are, whatever you need covered, kind of outline that, and then really you could just give us a call. We have a sales line, and we take calls and sketch out people's home and what it looks like and where the router's at, and do some measurements, and we can help people get exactly what they need.
That's good. That's good to know. So now we're talking a little bit about all this range extender and everything, but can we talk just a little bit about the technology itself? In other words, how does a range extender actually work? I mean, what is it doing? Can you talk a little bit on that?
Yeah, it's grabbing the signal and repeating it and boosting it out even further than it was before.
That's the name
and
repeater.
With our range extender.
I said, that's the name repeater. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually a simple product. High when you're looking at it higher level, it's pretty simple. Just grab the signal and boost it out there. And with our range extenders, they're jam-packed with amplifiers and low noise amplifiers so that they can still be a high power product but reduce the radio noise, because the device in itself will actually create some noise in the network. So they're highly, highly optimized to give as much output power as possible with very, 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 very little noise. And the antennas play a big role. And routers that just happen good as the external high gain antennas do. It's really the combination of the antennas and the amplifiers and the low noise amplifiers that give our products in particular their power.
Now, I've never actually used any of the amp products before, but I have used range extenders and repeaters before. And for anyone curious, they do work. And you know, just the concept of it, they work very well. We actually had ours where the router was in the back bedroom, and we needed signal on the other side. Like, it wasn't technically the other side of the house. It was just happened to be through about 4 walls and a couple rooms. So we just stuck one on the other side of the wall. And I mean, there's a lot of, you know, physical interference, but there wasn't a lot of distance. And repeater worked wonderfully, you know, just so everyone on that side of the house could get signal. So, you know, just throwing that out there, you know, first-hand testimony, these things work wonderfully.
So, I guess, let me ask you this. Some people have been asking, you know, we're talking about range extender, but there's also something called an access point. What's the difference between an access point and a range extender?
So the access points are a wired device, so they actually need to be plugged into an Ethernet port on the router or your power line adapter or whatever your source is. Whereas the range, this is a core difference, the access points are wired. The range extenders are wireless, they just need a power outlet. They're not actually plugged in via Ethernet. So if you attached, let's say you have an 802.11n router, and you attach our APA20, which is our 802.11 AC 1200 access point, to that router, your network, your wireless, those AC 1200 speeds. Range extender is always going to be top. Those are the core differences.
Okay, all right.
We find range extenders tend to be, they're really our bread and butter at Amped Wireless, and they tend to be more popular than the access points, mostly because of the mobility.
Really?
You can set them up once and you can move them around and hop from plug to plug to find the best one that's pushing your signal out exactly where you need it to be. They're just a little more flexible than the access points.
Yeah. The access points, I think, were an older technology. I think these range extenders or repeaters, we're going to call them, came after the access point.
I don't know I'm not 100% sure, but that would make sense.
It would make sense, exactly. Yeah. Let me ask you this: why? You know, people are listening to you now, and they're listening about Amp Wireless, and why? Because let's face it, there are other range extenders out there, and so why would someone want to purchase, let's say, a range extender from Amped Wireless? I know you're a newer company, and it's, oh, you know, maybe we should go with an older, more established company. But what would you say to these people who are listening that why they should, you know, give your product a try?
I would say that we are here to solve your range problems. And our engineers live and breathe long-range technology. That is our focus, is high power, long range. So every single product is carefully tuned to give you the most power, like I said before, with very little interference. And they're packed full of the hardware that it takes to really give you that power, which is those amplifiers, those low noise amplifiers. If you did get our product and so I can see them from my office. So they are right there in the same building as us, 7 days a week, and it is a concierge service. Or you need some assistance setting up your SR20000G, and you talk to Mike,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have Mike's direct phone line. You're going to have Mike's direct email. And if you ever have any further problems with your device, you can just go straight to Mike.
Support is really, really important. Listen, we're at the bottom of the hour break, and Lacey, we're going to continue on. We have some commercial messages. We got a brand new news tip bulletin. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free Try the incredible No Hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin review of the Lenmar Undead Power Helix 11 amp hour power puck. You could easily get excited about the 11,000 milliamp hour rating of the lithium polymer battery in the Lenmar Undead Power Helix. But for us, its most exciting thing is it fully supports a 4.4 amp current draw, 2.4 amps through a tablet port at the same time as 1 amp each through 2 other ports. Sure, that makes it an outstanding travel companion, but it also makes it a very clever addition to a car's center console, where it can keep gaining charge whenever the car's running, but keep charging whatever you've plugged into it, 3 other items, even when the car is off. Or if you've got to be away from outlets, take it with you. Bottom line, of all the power pucks we've seen so far, the most powerful proposition is in the Undead Power Helix from Lenmar. This is Marty Winston at the News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Thank you, Mr. Marty, for that. Sounds electrifying.
I was expecting a zombie apocalypse with the undead.
No. It's for charging stuff. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
He was going to stay on topic.
Yeah.
So, welcome back to the Computer America Show. We are talking to Amp Wireless, and more specifically, Lacey. And right before the break, we were just talking about what kind of sets Amp Wireless apart from some of the other brands that you may have heard of. And we kind of had to cut off there, but I mean, one big thing that you really can't overlook has to be customer support. And sometimes when you get the big ones and you buy it from big name stores, you don't know whether to go to the store or the brand name, and then they give you the runaround, and it's awful. But customer, everyone hates that runaround, and the phone trees. But it sounds like customer support isn't a problem for Amp Wireless.
Yeah, it's very important to us. When our CEO and his partners started the company, it was one of the requirements. Of course, when anyone starts a company, you look at what's happening in the market and what can we do different, what can we do better. And providing U.S.-based technical support was one of those core things. So we're really proud of it. It's definitely a big part of our brand, and we take a lot of pride in it. That's for sure.
Well, customer service certainly is an important thing to do it. Now, you mentioned 802.11n, which is the latest, I guess, the most popular and most latest, fastest one. However, there are even though it's not ratified, the final draft is still it's still out there and it's being used by some companies. And the new 802.11ac protocol, which is going to be even faster and more range, everything. Do any of your products work on the new 802.11ac at this time?
Yes, yeah, we have a full suite of 802.11ac products. So by that I mean we have a router, a range extender, an access point, a USB adapter, a PCIe adapter for your desktop, and then we also have a compact version of our range extender. So we have fully adopted the AC technology, and our products go up to, we have up to AC 1200, but we're hearing that it sounds like coming soon all the way up to AC 3200. So things are going to get really fast.
Well, yeah, I mean, is it basically? I mean, that's what makes 802.11ac better than 802.11n is primarily speed. What is it?
It's the speed.
Right.
Yep. That standard is all about speed.
And speed, and also, how about range? Also, you get better range with 802.11ac?
You're always going to get better range on the 2.4 over the 5. But let's see, let me put it this way. So if you're losing speed, the further you go from your device, the faster that your speed is to begin with. The faster your speed is going to be at that range.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So the range extender obviously is going to pick it up where you dropped off, and it's going to boost it back up.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the core. It's one thing to have a little bit of a signal, but if it's unusable out on your porch or upstairs in your bedroom, what good is it? If it's just for standard browsing. These days, people want to stream their movies in bed on their tablet, and so for that type of thing, you usually need a range extender.
Unless your bed is outdoors, then you have a exactly. Well, let's talk about going long range outdoors. I mean, what solutions, if any, does AMP have for long range outdoor such scenarios?
Yeah, we do have an outdoor family of products. We call them our Pro Series. So they're outdoor, they're point-to-point solutions, and with a clear line of sight, they can get you up to 1.5 miles. So really far distances. So we have customers from RV parks to large farms. They need some type of solution. I'm trying to get my signal out to my barn, or I'm trying to cover my whole RV park with Wi-Fi. Or sometimes we have the customer that calls in and says, hey, my mother-in-law lives 6 houses down. What can I do to share my Wi-Fi with her? And so that's where the Pro Series comes into play.
Okay. And so in other words, the outdoor version, if you're getting better range with the outdoor version, why wouldn't you use that for blanket coverage of your whole home? I mean, why? Or is it just more expensive? I mean, why not use the long range outdoor versions?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Now, the core difference is that in order to get that range, we have to hone in that signal. So our standard range extenders and APs that are intended for indoor use, those antennas are giving off they're omnidirectional antennas, which means that they're giving off a signal in the form of a dome. A large sphere is what's happening. So the point-to-point solutions, in order to get that distance up to 1.5 miles, that signal is down to a 30-degree. It's a 30-degree signal. So it's a directional. So they have to be pointing towards each other. So you have to be within those 30 degrees from that antenna to pick up that signal. So what you usually do is run an AP to another one on the second building, or excuse me, to your range extender on the second building, then you run a cable down into your building, and then you would set up some other device that puts off that signal. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense.
See, for some reason, I just got the picture of two people, down on the floor, trying to line these things up on a cell phone, talking to each other like a mile and a half away, trying to point, a cable in the right direction. It's like, you got it? You got it? We good? Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, exactly. So, we have people that constantly call in to those are the products that we probably talk to people most about in terms of setup. They're a little more complex, mostly because you have to get them within that 30 degrees, for them to both be grabbing that signal. And we say clear line of sight, but every now and then, you can have a little cluster of trees, and it just, every environment varies, but clear line of sight is best.
Right, exactly. Okay, so now, do you make only high-power, long-range Wi-Fi products, or do you have other wireless solutions that you offer?
Our core focus has always been Wi-Fi, but just late last year we branched out into Bluetooth. So we actually released, it's called our BTSA-1, and it is a long-range Bluetooth speaker adapter. So it can plug into any stereo or speaker system with RCA or 3.5 millimeter inputs, and you plug it in, and it'll give you about 2 times the range of the average your Bluetooth device with the speaker adapter, and now your stereo or speaker system is a Bluetooth streaming machine, and you are free to put your iPhone back in your pocket and walk throughout your house and carry on with your business, and your music will continue to stream because you have that long-range capability.
All right, that is nice. Now, we also mentioned in the introduction something called boost band technology for your range extenders, and so why don't you tell a little bit, what do you mean? What is this boost band technology for the range extenders? What it's all about, and which of the products from Amp Wireless this is available for?
Yeah, so we first announced boost band technology maybe a month and a half or 2 months ago. It comes in the form of a firmware update for your dual band range extender. And as of today, we just announced today the availability of the firmware update for our last dual band range extenders. Firmware update. And the boost band essentially minimizes the computing between the router and the range extender, giving you faster network speeds, less thinking that your devices have to do, resulting in faster speeds. And it does this by streamlining the dual band traffic between your router and your range extender to a single frequency band, which is usually the 5 gig band, as that's faster. It streamlines that to a single band, but then your range extender still emits both bands. To try it out, you have to download the firmware and reset your device, and then you just go into the settings and you switch it on.
Okay, all right.
Very cool.
It is. So, and the boost band, this is available for most of all your products, you're saying?
It is available for all of our dual band range extenders.
Okay.
So it's kind of specific, just the dual bands, because those are the ones, of course, that are talking to the router on both of those frequencies.
Okay. Now, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, right? I mean, as long as you're connected you have a good Wi-Fi signal, then anything you would normally be able to do, with a direct Ethernet connection, you're going to be able to do with the Wi-Fi connection, correct?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. So you'd probably, you're really going to see that speed boost when you're downloading or transferring large files, or you're trying to stream videos, high definition videos. That's where, that speed really comes into play. And that's where, especially in the feedback we're getting, that people are saying, wow, I can't believe that a simple update could really make that much of a difference, but it can.
Now, this update that you keep talking about, this update, this is specifically for the SR20000G, or is this for all of your products?
It is for all of our dual band range extenders. So we have one compact version, which is actually our newest product. It's our REC15A. It's a dual band compact AC Wi-Fi range extender. So it plugs right into the wall outlet. The single antenna, very discreet. So that one, as well as the SR20000G and our REA20, which is our AC1200 range extender. That's our biggest, baddest, 700 milliwatts output power, 3 external antennas, 10,000 square feet of coverage.
All right, well,
those devices there.
Right. Now let's talk a little bit about cost. Typically, what are these different products costs, and can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have solutions like our compact solutions that will run you anywhere from $60, $70 up to our big bad boys, which are about $180. Then if you're talking like a USB adapter, we have some of those that are more in the $40, $50.
Well, okay. So, I'm sorry, Ben, were you going to say something? I didn't mean to step on you.
No, we're good.
Okay. All right. So, and I know you touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'd like for you to speak a little bit more about the resources that you have available for people who are trying to determine, exactly what's going wrong with their Wi-Fi network, or if they're unsure of exactly, which products they need, because I think that kind of makes you unique and kind of stand out, because, I mean, when you call someone like Netgear or Linksys or Cisco, or, you've got to go through this enormous amount of, how should I say, red tape. They issue you numbers, and you have to go through different. First, they start you off at a level, is it plugged in level, and then you have to go to the second tier, and until you finally get to somebody who's going to really has the wherewithal to help you.
I always like to think until you reach the level of, sorry, we have to contact you to the guru, and they call the mountaintop, and he leaves his goat herd, and he helps you plug in your router.
I would say the best place for people to start is with our Wi-Fi analytics tool, which is a free tool that they can download, and that will get them a little bit more familiar with their network and where their really troublesome spots are, and help them really figure out what's going on with it. And then second to that, I would say, I am all for talking to a real immediately when I want them. Our elite technical support line, and talk it out with them. Tell them what's going on with your network, what you learned about your network from your analysis with the Wi-Fi analytics tool. Chat about what your needs are. They'll ask you questions about where your router is, what your setup looks like, what kinds of speed you're getting, what your core problems are, and they'll help you decide what your next step could be. Secondary to that, if you aren't quite ready to talk to someone, you can always tap into our forums that we have on our website. We also have online direct chat with our elite support that can be accessed through our website. And then we also have a presence on both Facebook and Twitter, where we are constantly there answering people's questions about what they need or what they don't need, and what the best solution is given their problem. So we know, some people are more comfortable with the technology than others. I was not prior to coming to Amped Wireless. I had a lot to learn myself, and it can be intimidating. So we understand that. We talk layman terms. We can talk it out with you and figure out exactly what you need, and really help you narrow it down so you don't blindly want.
So again, once again, it's Amped Wireless. If you go to our website at computeramerica.com and you go to our show notes page, you'll see today's show, which is the 16th of June, Monday, and you'll see we talk about Amped Wireless. There's a link there, so it'll actually take you to the Amped Wireless website, and you can see more of the things that we're talking about tonight. Again, when you look at when you go to the website, you'll see Wi-Fi analytics, and these are some of the software products that you mentioned that help you do the job. The long-range Bluetooth setup, which was because you don't really think of Bluetooth as for long range. I think Bluetooth was originally designed for about 30 feet, and that was it. But you actually have an extender for Bluetooth, which is, why would someone need that? I mean, if they're going that far away, then I would think, well, they would use Wi-Fi then rather than Bluetooth, because Bluetooth was never intended to be a long range. So why did you decide to make a long range Bluetooth adapter?
Sure. Well, it really spurred from personal, per Amped Wireless employees running into this problem themselves. So, these days you're streaming your music from your phone or your tablet, something that you don't necessarily want to have tethered to the device that you're using to stream. So that's where this comes into play, because you can pair it, you can stream your music, and then you can go on about whatever you wanted to do on your device. And if you have, let's say you have a speaker system in your living room, but you're out on the back deck barbecuing, and you need to have your phone next to you so that you are in touch with the world. And most Bluetooth speakers or adapters are not going to give you that range. You're going to get over 200 feet of range with our Bluetooth adapter. So if you need to run upstairs and your phone's in your pocket, you will not be the party pooper at your backyard barbecue.
Exactly. So basically, if you have music on your iPhone, for example, and you want to, send it to a speaker system, you can do it that way.
Exactly. And you can take, let's say you invested maybe years ago a lot of money into a surround sound system, and you have a really nice receiver, but along comes this Bluetooth technology, and you don't need to upgrade your whole system just to keep up with it. You can just plug in something like our BTSA1, and now suddenly you have this existing system that's worked flawlessly for you. It just wasn't compatible with this Bluetooth technology, and now it is. And rather than Bluetooth being a single room technology, it's now a whole home solution for you.
Ben, any other questions?
No, it sounds like everything that that you want it to be. Repeaters and all that good stuff.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah. No. All right. Now we talked a bit about it. Just talk a little bit more. Because I'm looking at this Pro series. This is the long range weatherproof access point extender and adapter. Can you talk a little bit more about this?
Yeah. This tends to be, more of a special application type of solution. So building to building, we have RVers that will mount, one of our devices, an antenna or what have you, on the outside of their RV, so that they can get better range while they're traveling the globe. These are definitely, the bad boys. They just have a unique application. So they're equipped with our same high-power technology as the rest of our devices, with the amplifiers and the low-noise amplifiers. They are waterproof, and 1.5 miles is what these guys can get you, which is
a mile and a
number.
A mile and a half. Wow, that is pretty,
1.5 miles.
That's pretty good. When you look at that, I see in the building, but I see you have it on a sailboat. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I know. I guess although if you're on the water, I guess you get less interference than if it's more line of sight. Is it because it's that?
Yeah, and maybe
it's that directional thing you were talking about.
Right. Yeah, it needs to be pointing up at that access point or whatever's handing off that signal. And we find that marinas use them a lot. Now you have those boats, and everybody's trying to get a signal, but they want to, be able to sail a little bit too.
Sure.
And
sure.
So that's where that comes into play.
Now you mentioned the firmware update. I assume everything you get from all the products from Amp Wireless are upgradable via firmware. So when you buy it, the product doesn't go obsolete in a very quick time because the technology is. You can basically update this with firmware for the most part to extend the useful, productive life of these products.
Yeah, that's really the core purpose of the firmware, is to keep your device up to speed. Technologies change, networks change. Maybe we learn about one particular cell phone that was having one bug with the signal. Then we can fix that with a firmware update. And our engineers, our devices are designed to live in your home for a very long time. And over that course of time, technology changes. And so that's what the firmware is for. So our engineers are constantly working on fine-tuning and delivering these firmwares to our customers so that it's really nice that the technology allows for that, because as you guys know and everybody knows, that it's just always changing.
Yeah, especially in these days with I mean, it's nice to have software being upgraded. You don't have to, when something add a new feature, you don't have to go to the store and buy a floppy disk in the old days when you had to do that, or even see and wait for something right. Basically, software and everything is upgradable, and firmware in hardware is upgradable in the same way, especially when you're dealing with things like new technology that's still in draft form, because technically 802.11ac is still in draft, and although when you don't have to wait till it's finally ratified, because especially when you have something like when you have products that are upgradable, because when they do go to the final approved ratified version of 802.11ac, you don't have to send the product back to the manufacturer to have them upgraded or get a new version. All of it is controlled by the firmware, so whatever changes they make, you can realize the benefit of those changes.
Exactly. I mean, we really see it as you're extending the life of that hardware. And it allows us to continue to add great features like boost band technology. And we can still, someone may have had their SR20000G for a few years now, and we can offer them an upgrade with whole new features that they've never seen before that's going to improve their network, even though they've been using the hardware for a number of years. So it's cool.
Now, when you do that, when you have a product like that for a couple of years, and do you charge for these firmware upgrades, or is it included with if you've had it for less than a year? I mean, what is Amped Wireless's policy for that?
Oh, yeah, no, they're absolutely free. They're absolutely free. So when you buy our product, you can register it on our website, which means that if an update ever does come up, like the boost band technology firmware, we will actually send you a notification that it's available. But you can always access, we have a support page on our website, and you can look up your exact SKU and see if there's a firmware update for it and access it there. Always accessible.
Well, again, the website is www.ampedwireless.com, ampedwireless, all one word.com. But again, if you're driving or whatever, you can't write it down, just go to our website at computeramerica.com, check out our show notes page, and you'll see today's show. We have a link to the Amped Wireless website, and all that you can go to the website, see all the different products. Are they available in stores? Is it primarily via the website?
You can buy everything on ampedwireless.com, but we are in most all major brick-and-mortar resellers. So your Best Buys, your Fry's, your Walmarts, more recently Office Depot.
Okay.
But you can also shop online.
Did they get a better deal online, or this better deal going into the stores?
It really depends. There's promos running all the time. I would say if you're a smart shopper, you know how to scour the internet.
Yeah.
And search for the product you're after and find the site with the best price.
Sounds good to me. Lacey, I want to thank you for being with us here tonight on the show, and I'm glad that your cell phone held out through the hour. And and thank you so much for being with us here again. Again, ampedwireless.com is the website, and check them out for some of the great products. And Lacey, again, thanks so much for being with us here on Computer America this evening.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Ben.
All right.
Have a good night, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
All right. Coming up in hour 2, we're going to have Homey. Homey is a little robot that basically allows you to control your home. It's called Homey, and the gentleman who's going to talk about it is in the Netherlands. So we're going to contact him and to find out more about Homey, this robot that allows you to control your home with your voice. We'll see if this works. This is the Computer America Show on the Boost Radio Network, on the Blog Talk Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. This is the Computer America Show. We will be right back. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your temporary co-host, Ben.
Temporary co-host.
As far as I know.
Yes, well, Charles Tendell is out for the evening. He couldn't. He got tied up in a late night meeting, and hopefully we will have him back with us tomorrow night. But we had Amped Wireless on the first hour of the show, talking about their range extenders. And again, check them out at ampedwireless.com, and you can see all these really cool products that they offer. So what we're going to do now is sort of switch gears, and hopefully we can make this happen. This next product actually came to my attention. But I'm very big into home automation and products that do it. And this product is called Homey, and this is a speech-controlled home automation device. You can talk basically to your home to control everything from lights to music, from climate to TV. Now here with us tonight is the company's co-founder and marketing guru of Anthem. They're the makers of Homey. His name is Stefan Whitcamp. Stefan, welcome to Computer America. How are you, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Craig. Thanks for having me. I'm doing fine. I'm based in the Netherlands, so it's still a little early over here, but otherwise, yeah, it's going perfectly fine.
Yeah, you sound very good, so that's good to know. So you're in the Netherlands. What time is it? It's 11 o'clock here right now where I am in the United States, 7 in the evening. What time is it where you are?
Yeah, it's actually 5 a.m., so...
Ouch. Okay. Well, thank you for getting up a little earlier and to be with us this evening.
A lot earlier. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't usually get to bed till 5 in the morning, let alone getting up. So
well, luckily I have been to bed last night, so I'm pretty awake right now to do the interview. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't have no wild and crazy evening. Okay, good.
No, not last night.
Now, all right, so let's talk a little bit about home automation and how you actually got into, before we get to Homey talk a little bit about why you felt the need, because look, there's so many home automation systems that are on the market currently. Apple just announced their whole big thing with home automation, tying in all these devices together, because there's so many different standards. There's like Z-Wave, and there's all these different that work great with their own product, but not interact, or they don't play nice with other products. So Apple's trying to create a system where it brings all these things together. The Nest out there for thermostatic control and fire. So why did you feel the need to come up with yet another device that does home automation? Can you give us a little history?
Yeah, it's actually really funny that you mentioned that, because indeed it is right now about all those standards. And Apple with their HomeKit is not really integrating on any other previous standards. It's just setting a new one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the XKCD from like their 13 standards. This is not okay. Let's make another one. And then their 14 standards. And also like you said, previous home automation, you had Z-Wave, you have Zigbee, you have all those devices that work perfectly fine within their own ecosystem, but they just don't work well across those domains. And like the Nest you said, for temperature is, for example, a device that isn't supported by Apple's HomeKit. Yeah. So you already see the twofold over there. And that is what we were trying to do. We were really like, scratching our own itch, seeing that things didn't work together, especially not if you wanted to combine home automation, so just the control of your appliances, with, for instance, the control of your TV and entertainment system. Then everything really goes wrong, because there isn't a device yet out there that can really tie your entertainment to your home appliances and let it be controlled with just one device.
Yeah, I see. I feel your pain, because I feel the same thing. I mean, we have a separate system for lighting. I have a Crestron system for lighting, and then although Crestron will work with other Crestron products to do other things, but we have a separate for alarm system. We have a different one for that. We have the TV, and we have the different controls for that, and we have the thermostat, and that's a different control. And you're going, wow, it just gets worse and worse and worse. It doesn't seem to be getting any better. You have all these different products out there that don't want to work with each other. Maybe they shouldn't. I don't know.
No, it's really all about, like, we think the philosophy of the manufacturers, because manufacturers want to sell their product. So what they are all trying to do is get you vendor locked in, so that when you buy one device, you have to buy everything from them. However, it isn't working, because there isn't like real dominance over here. Everyone has just a scattered little piece of the marketplace, and since no one is able to build all devices, like your Lightning provider isn't going to build any TVs anytime soon, so it won't really integrate. And just by sticking to these vendor lock-ins, also by decisions made earlier, device manufacturers can't build a home that is really truly automated and integrating everything, especially not for a price point that is interesting for normal people, because there are solutions out there. But if you have to buy everything from a dedicated manufacturer, you're paying such a premium price that it isn't feasible for really a lot of homes.
I'm not going to tell you what I paid for that Crestron system either, but I mean, it supposedly will work with other systems, and but these things, it cost a fortune, so. And of course, when I had that put in, there was nothing else. There was no other choice. So, because when we bought our home from somebody else, and they had this dedicated system that was just horrible, and unfortunately, we had to go with something centralized, because the home was wired in such a way that it all went down back to one closet, one area. So you don't have separate rooms, light switches. You had to go all to the same area. So we had to replace it with something that was very similar that was going to work, and so that's why we were kind of forced into a Crestron system, because there was no other solution. There was no other way of doing it, at least at the time. So
yeah, I see. Well, fortunately nowadays there is.
Yeah.
So we are hopping into that to make sure that, for instance, for your example, you have nowadays those really cheap radio frequency like socket switches that you can just mount into your light socket, and then mount your light into that, so it just adds a little layer, and then it can be radio controlled, and they're like a few dozen bucks a piece. And with our device Homey, you can just give voice commands, and it will send those radio frequency waves all along to your lights, so you can control them anywhere.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about Homey and what it is. Now, when I first saw Homey, it looks very pretty, but it looks like a baseball on little chrome spheres that hold it up.
or a ping pong ball.
Or a ping pong ball. Yeah.
Similar
It's
remarks.
actually, it looks like a ping ball with a lighted band around it.
Yes.
But tell us about it, a little bit about this product, and I assume it came to fruition because you were just frustrated with what was out there. Is that a
Yes,
safe assumption? Okay.
indeed. We were frustrated with what was out there, especially because every manufacturer is trying vendor lock-in. Stuff didn't work together unless it was very pricey. And also the fact that they just wanted to see across their own domain. As we see it, we have 3 domains in your home that are relevant to you and can be integrated into home automation, which is first your home appliances, which is where most home automation devices stop. But after that, you have entertainment systems like your audio system, your TV, your media player, and beyond that, you have information services you use like news sites, radio shows, social networks, online calendar, weather predictions, and everything is really suited to be integrated into one system. So that is what Homey is trying to do. We integrate a lot of technological wireless modules to make sure we can connect to everything and not just home automation appliances and home appliances, but also entertainment devices by, for instance, the use of also using Bluetooth for streaming and infrared to control your TV.
Okay. So now, and also my understanding is that Homey basically works with voice recognition. You speak to it, or how does it work?
Yes, indeed. It uses voice recognition. It's like the Microsoft Kinect. It has an array of microphones built in to make sure it can understand you also if it's a little bit more crowded and can hear your voice clearly across the room. It hears what you say. It just converts your speech to text using the Google speech to text API to make sure we have like the highest and self-learning state-of-the-art voice recognition. And after that, your sentence, which is just a natural sentence, like Homey, I want to watch the first Lord of the Rings movie. It gets analyzed by open algorithms combined with research from the university that we're from to see what people intend with the sentences they use. So our algorithm picks out the keywords and parameters that you are saying and then compares that to all the apps that are installed on the system. So for instance, with the example I gave, it will recognize the watch and movie keywords. It will associate that with, for example, your Plex media player, and it will ask Plex to play the first Lord of the Rings movie for you. And then Plex can just return the movie to your TV while Homey makes sure your lights are dimmed, your curtains are closed, your TV is set to the right channel, and your audio receiver is also put on correctly and it has a raised volume.
Well, and again, I mean, it all sounds wonderful, but I still wonder, in real life, I mean, when I come into my home, do I necessarily want, the TV on at a particular station at a particular time? I mean, I don't know.
Sounds a lot easier than my method, which would be just to leave the TV on, but doesn't
leave the TV on all the time. I understand, by the way, that the Homey is also a Kickstarter project, and evidently congratulations are in order because you exceeded your goal of, was it 100,000 euros? And and you still have 10 days to go, which is very good.
We have indeed. We exceeded our goal pretty quickly, and have been steadily rising since. So we still have 10 days to go. So persons that are interested in home automation or voice-controlled home automation or anything of that should check it out. It's just findable on the Kickstarter website by pressing in Homey. And to answer your first question, the thing is that you want to switch TV channels because like your media player isn't in the same source connection as your TV tuner is, or sometimes you want to raise volumes or do stuff together that can be done together, like controlling all these devices to just watch a movie. You don't need to grab and search for those 5 remote controls you have hanging around. You can just use your voice, which you never lose because it's always there with you, and you can just say what you want and Homey will execute it. It's just that easy.
Now, what if you have laryngitis and you can't speak for the day? Are you locked out of your home, or do you have an alternative?
No, sure. You can also control it via smartphone. Just like current home automation, we have a smartphone app that lets you connect with your home and control everything. It's just that we found that in-house using a smartphone app isn't ideal. A smartphone is ideal for on the go to control or monitor some settings where you're gone, or also when you're out of speech or you're just in a different room. But when you're in the room yourself, getting out your smartphone, unlocking it, searching for the right app, launching it, searching for the right device, and then toggling it on, it's often that much harder than just flipping a switch on the wall. That actually just home automation by apps, in our opinion, is more cumbersome than the previous solution of just flipping a wall switch.
Now, let me ask you this: what if one day I just find myself, speaking Norwegian, and I can't talk? I mean, what about different languages? Is that?
Yeah, and at first, different languages are covered to the extent that we cover most of people's native languages of the world, which means we include Spain and English, and also complemented with, for starters, Dutch, because we're from Holland, and and also French, and probably very soon also German. So the main language areas are covered, and we'll add on languages in the running. You see, it's a software platform that we're building. We're not building a device that has firmware and then you get it shipped and then it never changes. We, like smartphones, want to build a connected device. So that means software can get updated, so your Homey gets updates and gets even better along the way. And also, like smartphones, you can install apps that anyone can publish to further extend the functionality of the device. So maybe you have a device that isn't supported by us yet. Then you can ask for someone to develop an app for it. Maybe you can do it yourself, or the device manufacturer hop in, or we do it. So you have multiple sources of and connecting more devices and extending functionality.
That is nice to hear. By the way, what is that color ring that I see? That's like a light color ring around the middle of the circumference. What is that?
It is a really nice looking RGB LED ring, actually, and it is there for feedback and for aesthetics. So it shows you, for instance, that it has understand that you are giving it a command or that it's executing certain options by showing off colors and showing off bending circles or showing fading out when you're leaving. And so it's both just aesthetic and for feedback, but also apps on the system can use it, for instance, to show the weather. So, for example, yellow might be sunny, while blue might be raining, and white may be cloudy. And then it is a really subtle, ubiquitous way of showing you some information on the glance without having to get out your smartphone or to even ask Homey what the current weather is.
So if it's blue, it's raining. If it's yellow, it's sunny. If it's white, it's either cloudy or snowing, I guess.
Yeah, so something like that. But it is depending on your settings. You can also do snowing to be also blue, because it isn't snowing and raining anytime simultaneously. So you can do just any kind of I know what it's called.
So flashing red is like brimstone fire, do not go outside kind of thing, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you can set on multiple colors for that. So you can do whatever you want. You can also set sunny to purple if that's your thing.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what would you say if people are listening to this and they're hearing it? Because there are some other home automation products out there, a number of them. What would you say the difference from the other products out there between that and Homey? What would you say some of the major differences?
Yeah, some of the main differences and also the main unique points of our system is first that it's the best connected device. It has the most wireless functionality. I already told you, it has Bluetooth for example, audio streaming, but also appliance control. It has infrared, so it can even support your 20-year-old CRT television, because really a lot of devices use infrared, and no single home automation solution out there uses infrared yet, which is really weird. We think it integrates Z-Wave, Zigbee, NRF, radio frequency, Wi-Fi, of course. So it integrates all those modules, and that makes sure it is connected to anything and everything, and it's so also connected across domains. So you have your home appliances, but you also have your information services that you use. You can ask if you have any new meals. You can ask for your next appointment. It will automatically notify you when you're leaving and it's going to rain in an hour. To take an umbrella. So it connects all these different services and products you use in your life, in your home, for entertainment and for information, and connects it all through one device, which is really connected and really supporting everything because it has access to all those different technologies.
What about security? I mean, what about locking and unlocking my door? There are these locks you can buy now from locks and everything, but they only seem to work with their system. Can you integrate with these more security-oriented home automation products?
Yes, we can. Actually, the locks by, for example, QuickSet, which are really popular, also have like a sort of API that we can hook up to, so we can connect to those locks and also make the security part of the process. So yeah, indeed, it can even do such a way that when you're entering your lawn, it can see in your smartphone by location that you're nearing your home, so it can do the first step on your door lock already open, so that, for example, with only an NFC card you can continue. Something like that could be a possibility.
Now, do you have to have the cooperation of these other companies to do this, or is it something that it's just going to work without them having to, them give you the seal of approval? I mean, do you have to talk to these companies?
It really depends. Some companies even provide an open API, so we can just develop stuff for them and control your devices. Others have a protocol that is already published, either by someone who has reverse engineered it, or that a company chose to just publish their protocol. And another form indeed is collaboration, and with collaboration with other companies there's a twofold. There are two types of collaboration. We can either collaborate with them and see what we can do for their devices, but on the other hand, as I already mentioned briefly, it is a platform-based system. That's also one of our main differences, because it means that anyone can build apps for it. So in a realm, device manufacturers can just build their own apps to support their devices the best, because people having Homey, of course, want their new products to be also Homey compatible. So device manufacturers, like on the smartphone system, can collaborate with us by writing their own apps and publish them to Homey.
Now, what about a company like you mentioned, QuickSet? They're obviously security-oriented, so I don't believe they make their APIs. They're not open, because that would kind of defeat the purpose. How would you work with a company like QuickSet?
Well, that's of course not really a real issue. An open API does not mean that you don't have security, because an open API can just ask. If your device has an API, it can just ask for a password, and a password is often much more secure than, especially with timeouts or restraints for the amount of tries, than a door lock, which is often numeric. So it has lots of less different possibilities than a normal password. So if the API just asks for a password and you put in a password and then you're connected, then it's more secure than just walking at the door and trying on some codes. It could be very well that those companies already have an API or at least are open to it if security is taken into account, and that's of course what we want to do. We want to make sure that our solution is safe too, because it's actually in your home.
Now, have, or are you in the process of? Yeah, I mean, when Apple introduced their home automation system, they bragged about the fact, look at all the companies that we're talking with, and it was at the Worldwide Developer Conference. They put a big, the Honeywell, this, and these are all the companies that we're talking with, and we're in the process of working with, with our new system. Do you have something like that, or do you need to even have something like that where you're talking with all these companies to make sure that Homey is going to work with their products? Can you speak a little bit about where that stands, or if you even need anything like that?
Yeah, we partly need it. As I said, for a lot of companies, they either have an open API or an already published protocol. So
Right.
in basic, we don't really need their collaboration. But of course, it's always good to have a collaboration so that future devices will be supported, and you can look for mutual benefits.
Right. So I'm looking
like cross promotion. We are right now in discussion with a few of the companies. Many of them are mainly Europe-based, but we're also looking to extend our contacts to American-based companies. So yeah, we are getting in touch, but it's really launching right now. So
right. No.
we do have some talks already, and we do have some contacts. But with the Kickstarter, we recently get a lot of attention. So now it's really getting on. But for your HomeKit remark, again, Apple is building something for the future, which is nice and maybe works then, although it's not a dedicated device, so you have to always pick out your phone. But it isn't offering a solution for any of the devices you have today.
Right. All right.
So again, really automating your home will cost you a lot of money.
See, so I'm working at your website now. It says Homey works with, and you got Sonos,
yeah,
Kwikset, AirPlay, Bose, Logitech, Samsung, Philips. I mean, you got some really big names. GE, Spotify. So you've already been talking with these companies, because you're saying it works with these companies.
Partly. We've partly been talking with them, but a lot of the devices are open. Sonos has an open API, or at least a semi-supported API that is supported on our forums that you can just use to stream music to the speakers or play pause. So we just built in support for Sonos without really having collaboration yet, although we're open to see if we can extend it, of course. Same goes for a lot of Philips devices and Logitech devices. A lot of them are, especially for Logitech stereo installations, they're all infrared. So with our infrared LED, we just have to know the protocol on what's on and what's volume up, and we know that for Logitech sets. So we just by owning one and finding the protocol online, because it's actually available. So we support almost all Logitech stereo sets that are remote controlled, and that's also with all of the other brands you just mentioned. Really, a lot of them, their protocol has either been released, or you have an API way of talking to the devices. So without collaboration, you already have support.
Yeah, you mentioned
with collaboration, you can extend on that, but it isn't 100% necessary to support your current devices.
You mentioned Nest here as well. That's the thermostat.
Yes.
So you didn't have to contact them? It's just they invite collaboration. It's all open, so you can make Homey work with it.
Yeah, it is controlled via Wi-Fi, and they have those own panels that they integrate to also their own web interface. So when it's controlled, when it's able to control via web interface, we can also interface with it, because Homey just has a web connection, and when you enter your credentials, then we can even fake, of course, just HTTP requests to make sure that a web interface is listening to us. That would be the most hacky way, but we can make it more advanced as devices open up. But basically, any device that is controllable via web is controllable via our system, and also those using infrared or other like technologies have probably protocols similar to or released or similar to other devices, so they can be registered quite easily. And for example, for infrared, if your device isn't supported yet, we make sure that Homey can copy your current remote control like a universal remote does, and then it will be supported.
All right. Well, again, you can go to the website at computeramerica.com and you go to our show notes page on today, June 16th, and you'll see the link to the Kickstarter project for Homey. Check it out, and if this interests you, you should show your support. And you think it'll be available sometime next year? You're thinking?
Yeah, indeed. We plan to ship the Kickstarter unit in the first half of the next year.
All right.
And then we hope that we can also push it to market afterwards.
All right.
But that's depending on the whole.
Right.
A lot of different aspects, and price is still unknown. So if you want to get one, I really urge you to back the Kickstarter.
All right.
Because that's the only guarantee you will actually get one.
All right, Stefan. Well, thank you so much for being with us here, and the best of luck to you with Homey. And thanks for being here and get some more sleep now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, when we come back, we're going to do some computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America, and another brand new news tip bulletin with Marty Winston. That's all coming up here on Computer America. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown
Since it
coverage
appears you're
that is
calling
now
back into a
available
live
to the
show,
general
we are
public to
reconnecting
save
you now.
consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Hello, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a news tips bulletin review of Microsoft Office 365. That's the subscription offering of Office, meaning, among other things, annuity revenues for Microsoft. It seems like a good fit for people with more than one PC or Mac, especially if they're not uncomfortable using cloud services to share documents and files across those machines or with others. It also offers on-demand web apps that can work on computers that don't have Office installed. We agreed to review it when we learned of Office Mobile for Android, in hopes that when we're away, we could use our Android tablet for writing and so on, but no such luck. Office Mobile for Android works on handsets only, no tablets, to access, view, create, or edit Word, Excel, or PowerPoint files. Tasks that might have been palatable on a tablet prove tedious on a handset, but that's also true of third-party Office workalikes. So bottom line, Office 365 provides alternatives that many users will find compelling. This is Marty Winston at the News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past there, my bad. And yeah, we just got done talking with Homey, the home automation robot that will help you automate your home.
You think you would use something like that in your home?
You know, home automation, very noble goal. Ever since the Jetsons, everyone wants that. You know, well, the Jetsons, you know, they had buttons everywhere that controlled everything, and everything, you know, just happened at the push of a button. Nowadays, you know, even though the Jetsons is future to us, it's all voice command and touch screen and all that kind of thing.
They never thought, you know, it's interesting. The Jetsons, everything was pushing a button. The people who were creating the Jetsons didn't realize that people would just be able to speak and it would do it. They had to.
Well, you know, because like in the 50s and 60s, you know, the way of the future was the button, and everything was just button controlled. But you know, even in the Jetsons, you know, everyone talked to Rosie like they were talking to a normal person. So you know, that's even futuristic for us because we can't talk to people. You know, we can talk to robots like people. Yeah. So you know, in that respect, it's futuristic. But is it there yet? I mean, things like Homey and so on and so forth, it's getting there. But I mean, like Craig said at the very beginning of the interview, home automation, if you really want to just wire it into your home and get it in, is still very much out of most people's price range.
Yeah.
So would I use it if someone else paid for it? Oh yeah, definitely. Do I think it's right for, you know, for every home? Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting there though. It's getting there. I'm sure the horse and buggy was still seen as the everyman's transportation when the car first came around.
The horse and buggy?
Yes, a horse and buggy was before the car, and then the car replaced everything, and now cars are everywhere. So I think much in the same way that everything's dumb in your home will eventually be smart in your home.
Charles Tyndall says, in his own words, is like he's still waiting for the flying car.
I know, and it folds up into a suitcase. I know.
I know.
Although we don't have that yet.
Not yet. Yeah. I forgot
about.
Although
there was that guy that had a motorized unicycle, I think, or something like that, that folded up into a suitcase.
Yeah.
That's the closest I think we've got.
Yeah. We got a ways to go yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we just had Homey, the robot that we're talking about, and again, you can see more of it at the website. We have all the links at computeramerica.com. But I think we should do some computer and technology news. What do you think?
I think you are absolutely right.
All right, let's do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at the slimwareutilities.com website, absolutely free. We use all of them here at the Crossman household. Check them out. They're not a freemium model. In other words, you have to wait. You use it for 10 days, and they ask you to pay for it. It doesn't do that. They are all free. They do the job as they say they do, and you should download all of them and use them, and you'll be very happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. All right, do it. SlimmerUtilities.com. Maximum PC has a story. Oculus Rift in the news again. The founder of Oculus Rift believes that 30 frames per second is a failure.
Yes. Validation.
Validation. Well, 24 frames a second is movie.
I know. Well, as movie, yes.
Yes, movie. So you don't get the.
That's what gets you that movie feel.
He's saying that 30 frames per second is a failure when it comes to video gaming. He says that virtual reality gaming needs to be at least 60 frames per second. According to the story from Paul Lilly, he says if you're pulling 30 frames per second in your game, it's playable, though you don't want to dip much below that. Oculus Rift founder Palmer Luckey has a different number in mind for virtual reality. According to him, virtual reality gaming needs to be in the neighborhood of 60 frames per second. At 30 frames per second, he considers it a failure and calls it a bad artistic decision. His opinion isn't necessarily limited to VR gaming either. Virtual reality is going to need much higher frame rates than consoles. He told this to PC Gamer. Although even for consoles or traditional PC games, I don't think 30 frames per second is smart. It's not a good artistic decision. It's a failure. Unquote.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, he went on to say that you see diminishing returns between 90 and 120 hertz, adding that in the foreseeable future, virtual reality gaming will likely end up somewhere in that range. So there you go. So you're a big supporter of what?
I have told you guys on numerous occasions that 60 frames per second is good, 120 is even better. 30 frames, every time someone says 30 frames and they think they know better, they say, well, your eye can't tell better than 30 frames per second.
That's true.
Yeah, I know. I say that because everyone says, you can't tell anything greater than 30. That is not true. You get some kind of sense of motion blur. You get stuttering if it drops even a little bit. It's just 30 frames per second. And he's right for virtual reality because, I mean, if you're trying to create a new reality and it stutters, that just, your brain just, shuts it all off and realizes that it's fake. So if you're trying to create a new reality, you definitely need something faster. But for even traditional games, 30 frames per second is not enough. 60 is honestly the lowest I'd go.
What about for movies, though? I mean, remember that high frame
48.
rate?
48 frames per second.
Yeah, they went high frame rate, which doubled it, for the Lord of the Rings, the new one, and people booed. They thought it would look awful. It looked artificial. It didn't look like a real movie.
You know what? I believe that the people who are upset are 10 times louder than those who are happy or those who could not care less. The vocal minority out there that really hated the feel of the 48 versus the 24.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it mattering that much. I mean, 48 frames per second, that gives animators more to deal with. Fire's gonna look better, dragons are gonna look more real, because I gotta tell you, the ones I see look amazing. So seeing good ones in movies is also great. It's high frame rate is the way of the future, and I know 24 frames per second, it makes it look that movie feel. You sit down with your popcorn and you look at a 24 frames per second movie, and it feels like a movie, just like the good old days.
Yeah,
that's gonna go away, because the good old days always happen to be the way, way, way old days.
Well, when you watch a movie that's high, that has all the super high resolution, and it's like watching a live broadcast.
4K TV, 48, 1080p, 48 frames per second. It makes a difference, and it takes some adjusting. But
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't adjust, Craig, unfortunately, time has a way of dealing with those who do not adjust.
I agree with what you say. It does take some adjustment, but I mean, I watched T2 Terminator on a high frame rate, and it was unusual. It was like, oh, they got the actors back to do the movie again, and I'm watching it live. I mean, that was the feeling. It was like watching a newscast. That it's live. But I watched it for a while and sort of got used to it.
I actually learned some kind of neat about Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park. You know why those movies, like the special effects in those movies, look better than some of the things you see today?
Yeah, because it wasn't special effects. It was actually stop motion.
It was part stop motion, and it was part CGI.
Yeah, and
they use animatronics, and they use Muppets, and they use all that kind of thing as much as they could. But then after they used stop motion animation and after they used the animatronics, they went back with CGI and cleaned it up using CGI. So they used a little bit of everything.
Yep.
So it's not that purely CGI, which kind of takes you out of it, and it's not that purely animatronic robot stiltness that that also takes you out of it. It's a combination, which it could be 40 frames per second. It could be something along those lines, where you put it out there and you just mix it with everything you have out there. CGI, animation, acting, and you could as frames per second change, so could the way people film, and it could look even better in the future.
This is very true. Okay.
You never know.
All right. Okay. Well,
it will take some adjusting. There is a difference between 24 and 48. Let's leave it at that.
All right.
But 30 and 60 for games.
Okay.
There's no excuse, people.
Okay.
Stick with 60.
Okay.
All right. So I believe it's my turn. Did you guys? I'm sorry for not knowing this, and I really should. Did you guys cover the Tesla thing where they're giving out their patents for free?
No, we did not do that.
Okay, well, Tesla, not Nikolai Tesla, the other Tesla, the one that makes cars,
Yes.
and that's doing all the stuff in the news and things like that. Tesla last week gave out its electric car patents for free. Now, this doesn't mean that you can go out and patent the same thing that they already patented. It means that if you want to, in good faith, use their technology for something that you're trying to design and build, they say go for it. We won't sue you. We won't go after you. Patents have restricted innovation in the last few years, and Elon Musk, great guy apparently, has kind of hates that. So he had a blog post titled "All Our Patent Are Belong to You," which is a play off the old "All Our Base Are Belong to Us." And the Tesla CEO and all-around futuristic guy Elon Musk said that the electric vehicle company will not sue to Kingdom Come if you use its technology, quote, in good faith. That's right. Musk is basically handing out the technology that powers its futuristic Model S electric car to anyone, including his competitors, for free. So why would he do this? He says to accelerate the advent of sustainable transport, writes Musk. So yes, this is a crusade for the greater good of society instead of the greater good of just one small company. So, I mean, they have another quote here saying that if we clear a path to the creation of compelling electronic vehicles, but then lay intellectual property landmines behind us to inhibit others, we are acting in a manner contrary to that goal. He said that in his blog post. Tesla will not initiate patent lawsuits against anyone who, in good faith, wants to use our technology. So the ultimate goal of open sourcing is patented technology is to get the EVs, the electronic vehicles, on the road. Now that automakers don't need to do as much research and development on electronic vehicles, since Tesla's done most of it, it's possible we'll see the electronic vehicles produced and purchased. At least that's what Musk is hoping for. So, I mean, in the long run, by making all of his patents open, free to use, what have you, I mean, in the long run, you're going to see more charging stations, more cars, more, just that whole shift, kind of turn, and Elon Musk is hoping make that market come about sooner, rather than holding on to all those patents and hoping that he's going to be the one guy out there who has all the patents and is going to make all the money. So,
what's kind of a lofty?
Yeah, it's kind of that, noble, I guess would be the word, but you don't hear that a lot in business, especially in modern business and patenting.
No, you don't.
So, I mean, you just hear the word noble and you think, okay, it sounds noble, but what's he really trying to get out of this? But, I mean, at face value, he still owns the patents, and he still could technically go back on his word, do a 180 and just turn around and sue all the little startups who are going to use his technology. But, I mean, as of right now, the great Model S car that Tesla's known for, all the technology is, free to use.
Well, okay.
Very, very, very different turn from what we hear, with Apple patenting 2,000 things every year.
Yeah.
They patented the phone. They patented the rectangle phone with rounded corners. They literally patented rectangle round corners.
They patent everything. Yeah.
It's just patents are destroying innovation. So Elon Musk is like, yeah, we patented these, but go ahead and use them.
Yeah. I remember Steve Jobs, one of his keynotes, he was talking about the iPhone. He was we've added this and multi-touches, and he says, and boy, have we patented it.
He wasn't kidding.
He wasn't kidding. Yeah, exactly.
Technology nowadays is all about the patents. Who has them?
Yeah. Can you imagine a world where you just could snap a picture of your fancy meal and upload it to Instagram, and then everybody would actually get a whiff of your pizza?
That sounds interesting.
Well, evidently, there's a magical scent-sending phone is now available to order. Evidently, a Harvard professor and head of Science, Art, Innovation lab just unveiled the first commercial version of the O phone. Not the iPhone, the O phone.
Oh my.
It's the Duo. It's a cylindrical gadget that transmits scents called O Notes via an app called O Snap. Oh my. Think of it as a mobile messaging platform for sending aromatic emoticons. The O phone might look like a strange medical device, but the inventor is betting it could usher in the beginning of the aromatic communication age. Okay. Now they wrote the Wired wrote about the O phone a few months back when it was still being designed and developed, but evidently the professor and his former student have recently launched an Indiegogo campaign for pre-sale, so you can buy your own O phone for $149. Now, the team began developing the O phone a few years back as an experiment in new ways to experience smell. The current version features two cylindrical gadgets that work in tandem to deliver your bursts of scents for 10 seconds at a time. And to do that, you first have to download the O Snap app. Then you take a picture of, say, creme brulee. Inside O Snap, you can tag the image with any of the 32 scents, which will initially focus on food and coffee aromas. These scents can be combined into more than 300,000 different smells. In the case of your creme brulee, you might want to choose something like malty caramel and brown sugar. And after you tag this photo, it gets sent to your friends who will be able to smell those notes via the O phone. Each O phone is equipped with O chips, little cartridges that contain all the scent information that disperse odors when the air is spun over them. The catch is, though, no one will have an O phone until next spring. So initially, to smell your notes, you'll have to travel to one of the 3 hotspots, though they plan to expand O phone hotspots throughout the year. The first is one in Paris. The next will be the National History Museum in New York City, where the device will be used to showcase the evolution of smell in animals and humans. And then they plan to have another O phone hotspot in the Cambridge, Massachusetts location of where the laboratory exists once it opens this October. I don't know. What do you think? Fad?
I think the iPhone is going to end in O next year. The iPhone 7S, the iPhone O.
No, I don't know.
It's going to have smell capability.
No.
That you can transmit via Bluetooth to all the other iPhone O's around you.
Something smells to me with that one. I don't
It's going to be awesome.
I think that stinks.
You're going to send out like a mass smelly tweet or whatever, and then just all the phones in your area are going to start stinking. It's going to be technological warfare on a practical Joker level. The stink bomb.
A stink bomb. Yes, exactly.
It's going to be amazing. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this next story is from Popular Science, PopSci, popsci.com.
I know you
do like PopSci. You bring that up every time I bring up PopSci.
Well, it's true.
They have futuristic stuff. So, and they also have kind of have a science twist, which a lot of that leads to medical.
Okay.
So this one is medical, and it's a bionic pancreas handles ice cream sundaes and French fries.
Wow.
You're thinking, bionic pancreas. That's cool, I guess. So, but it's really cool because a new bionic pancreas for people with type 1 diabetes, that's the one you are born with and not the one you develop, is showing promise in early field tests. And so far, it definitely handles ice cream binges and kids at camp. The performance of our system, to quote, in both adults and adolescents exceed our expectation under very challenging real-world conditions, says the device's lead engineer at Boston University. So, like a natural pancreas, their device automatically monitors wearers' insulin levels. When needed, it administers doses of insulin and glucagon. Glucagon. Perfect. The 2 hormones that healthy pancreas make to regulate people's blood sugar levels.
Don't you remember glucagon? He was a transformer. Glucagon. Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
Nice try, though. So, in other words, the bionic pancreas does automatically what type 1 diabetes patients have to do manually, far more frequently than any person could, every 5 minutes, 24 hours a day. The device is about the size of a cell phone, and people wear it on the outside of their bodies. So people with type 1 diabetes don't make insulin like typical people do, and it goes in, showing that, I'm sure you look up what type 1 diabetes is and how the problem is, but since they don't make it like normal people do, they have to, if they eat something sugary or they eat something, something like that, they have to administer insulin in shots. I'm sure you've seen it before or heard it before, and they have to do it manually until, so they don't pass out. And so, they've been looking at making bionic pancreases to automate the check and inject process. And they said last year they did pretty well. And skip down to the test here, they said that him and his team found the devices control blood sugar levels better than conventional monitoring in 52 adults and adolescents. So among the testers were young adults under the age of 20 at a summer camp for kids with diabetes. The testers each used the device for 5 days, some putting it through his paces. Some kids were having ice cream sundaes and French fries and forbidden foods. I'm sure diabetes people have forbidden foods, just to see if the device could handle it. And one 76-year-old tester / tattle to the Bloomberg, the bionic pancreas handled it amazingly. So, just technology getting into medicine. An automated pancreas for type 1 diabetes.
So these are the 3 guys. Those are the testers holding it up. Okay.
Yep, those are 2 of the testers. I'm sure one of the creators.
Yeah. Wow.
Just diabetes sounds like a pretty easy thing to handle with technology. I mean, it just checks you at very regular intervals and injects you with insulin. Sounds something very easy to automate,
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It doesn't have to predict anything. It just has to read your blood sugar level and put in the proper type of chemical.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where technology shines, especially in medicine.
Yep. Well,
something to look forward to if you have type 1 diabetes.
Maybe they'll just find a cure for diabetes.
Well, they know the problem, so I guess this would be the cure.
Yeah, or they can find just a medical cure.
Not sure that would work.
They say you can control it with diet.
Well, yeah, that's but that's why they said forbidden foods is because with the proper diet you don't have to really worry about it.
Yeah.
But with this, I mean, Craig.
Yes.
Would you give up ice cream?
No.
I know. And now people with type 1 diabetes, they might not have to either.
Yeah. Okay, well, it sounds promising. I don't know if we have time to do Maximum. Yes, one story. One more quick story from Maximum PC. The Samsung Galaxy Note 4. There's a leak suggesting it has a 5.7-inch QHD display. There's basically what they're saying. It's going to have this upcoming Galaxy Note 4. With a 5.7-inch QHD display. The folks rounded up a handful of sources that paint a picture of the Galaxy 4's panel, including import data into India. It appears that Samsung started testing a pair of Galaxy 4 devices in an Indian R&D center some 3 months ahead of when the company plans on announcing the device. See, that's how it leaked out. The shipping records for those tests show a 5.7-inch display.
5.7.
That's big, yes.
That's phablet.
Yes. They also revealed that the price will be the same as its predecessor, the Galaxy Note 3. Other details aren't as readily available, though there are some speculation that Samsung may opt to release 2 versions, one with the traditional flat display and the second SKU supporting a curved OLED screen. I don't know. I'm still waiting for the iWatch.
Oh, Craig.
By the way, I've sort of caved. I forgot that I'm still waiting for the iWatch, but I am now not watchless. I have a watch. It turns out that I have a watch that I discovered that was in my drawer from like about 4 years ago that I bought and it was just sitting in the drawer. And I found it and I put a battery in it and it's great. It has a digital display.
You have it on?
90 seconds.
I have it on. Yeah, it's nice.
Show it. Show it.
Yeah, that's right. If you're watching our Google Hangouts, there it is. You see?
Very sleek, very modern, very black.
There it is. That's it. So this is the watch I'm going to be wearing until I get my iWatch. All right.
It's no iWatch, people. Let's put it that way for those of you who can't see it.
No, but it is. It's a nice watch, and all right.
Picture everything in iWatches, and it's not that.
Yes.
60 seconds.
Coming up tomorrow, we're going to have our All Linux show with Larry Bushy. And the topic he selected is the 10 things to do after installing Linux Mint 17. Okay. And that's going to be interesting. Of course, in the second hour, we'll do emails that he selects, that he collects over the month. And so it's our All Linux show. If you have any thoughts or any questions or anything having to do with Linux, you don't want to miss tomorrow's show. It's our All Linux show. We do one every single month. Larry Bush is going to be, he's the owner-operator of the Going Linux podcast. It's going to be a fun show. Hopefully you'll be here with us tomorrow. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
10 seconds.
Oh, good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, so we're still doing our Google Hangouts, but thanks everybody for joining us. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody in the chat room. See you tomorrow.
And thank you, Mr. Amps Wireless people, for following us on Twitter. Very kind of you.
Right, yes, exactly. Okay. All right. So we'll log out of there. And we'll finish out the Hangouts. And thanks for watching us on our live video streaming page brought to you by Otherworld Computing. And we'll see you tomorrow. All right. So there we go.